No,
going forward.
Charvarius didn't take part in any of the 11 on 11 stuff, but that gave you an opportunity to look at some other younger cornerbacks out there. I mean, how do you sort of assess that that outside position at cornerback?
I thought there was a lot of great competition this offseason. If you look at Demo, I thought he took strides this offseason and really getting better. You can see his confidence, and I think his confidence is coming from really in his preparation. If you watch him each and every day, as I have, you see him taking steps and really focusing on the details in the classroom and his transfer into the field. Ambry, I thought has had a great OTAs and minicamp. So when you look at those two guys with the amount of reps they've taken with Looney not being there, I think there's only been a plus. And I saw progression with Sammy as well on that. So I'm excited about the young guys that we have on the outside.
Do you think, just one follow-up, do you think that Ambry has sort of that, the physical traits we were talking about the last time you were here to do the press stuff that that Charvarius does and Luter that you liked about him as well?
I think he does. I think only time will tell. I think right now, I'm very impressed with being in gym shorts right now, but I think once we get the pads on with training camp, we have an opportunity to go and practice against the Raiders, before we play them. And we'll see exactly once we get the preseason, but I'm very confident that he can get it done.
What have you seen or learned about Charvarius Ward since you've been here?
I think he has, just as a person, tremendous character. I just like how he takes care of his business on and off the field. I watched a lot of tape on him, before I got here and then since I've been here. So he has the skill set to be one of the top in the league, and he and I talked about that. So it's all about him just being locked in and focused this year and having consistency.
How's it been having Mark right here?
It's been great. I love our guys up front. You're going to hear me say this time and time again. Everything we do starts up front, and we made that commitment with Jed all the way down with John and Kyle to try to assemble the best defensive line in the league. So with him being here, Bosa being here, you talk about Ken Law, you talk about Eric, Drake. I'm excited about what we can do up front this year.
Bosa mentioned that he spent some time with you yesterday and a long conversation. When you have those conversations with a player of his caliber, how much is there give and take of you kind of trying to find out what he likes, positions he likes to be put in, things like that?
Well, I think really what I was doing, I think I told you guys this from day one, I'm about relationships, so it was more about trying to learn him as a person. And I think as you get to learn him as a person, then now you get a feel for the player, and then you can put him in position. And one of the things we talked about is just his commitment to this game and him still trying to get better, defensive player of the year. And, can I take the next step? Can I do it again? And he has that focus and determination. So I just love coaching guys like that, it's not about my status. It's definitely not about, the money. He's committed to trying to be one of the best.
Status update on Jair Brown. As a rookie, you had a fond appreciation for him. How has he done so far in just a few weeks?
I think he's done well. He's had an opportunity with Gibson being here to be able to learn from a veteran guy, and they do a great job communicating and talking. And Gib is one of the older guys in the room, and I think he does a good job of trying to relay things from a coach's perspective. So he's helped Jair out tremendously, and his skill set. I told you from day one, I was excited about that, and I've seen him make strides, and his ability to make plays on the ball from the post is tremendous. He covers a lot of ground.
Steve, you're on the practice field, you're communicating with like a DB almost after every play. Is that the kind of way you're coaching kind of through the back end, or is that just kind of we're just saying it today?
Well, I coach through the back end because that's really my expertise. So I see certain things back there, and I try to make coaching points on the run just to try to get those guys to self-correct themselves, because there's times, of course, during the game you can't get to them. So you just want them to be able to think about what just happened and then hit the reset button and get ready for the next play.
Steve Stern told us last week that when you two talked prior to you taking the job, that it was pretty apparent to you really that you guys saw things in a very similar way. What do you mean by that?
Well, I think, you go against these guys, you see them on tape, you got the crossover film and those kind of things, and sometimes you really don't understand the teaching behind it, okay? You know, the wide nines and those kind of things, what we may be doing up front. But once I was able to get here and understand how detailed he coaches everything, it fits into my philosophy and the things that I believe in. So we're on the same page. As a defensive guy and, you know, running things from the back to the front, I emphasize every meeting pointing out things up front, just to let those guys understand and know that it's just not lip service. You know, everything we do starts up front. I want those guys to understand that.
Steve, you probably watched last year's defense with D'Amico. How is the back end, do you think, going to look different to us this year from what D'Amico did?
Well, number one, I hope we, one of our goals, we talked about trying to lead the league in the least explosive plays. I think we gave up too many last year. So hopefully you don't see that. You know, the fastest and quickest way to win a game is through the air. So as great as those guys may be playing up front, we got to make sure we secure things on the back end. So we don't want to give up explosive plays. That's number one. And two, we got to make more plays on the football. You know, interceptions, and then find a way to get in the end zone with those. I'm going to say this first, you know, and I think I've already said this. I don't like to compare, but I don't really think that's a comparison. You're just trying to reference other guys. The first one comes to mind is Luke Kuechly, Brian Urlacher, you know, guys that are just committed to that craft and trying to get better each and every day. And, you know, all those guys that I just mentioned along with Bosa is about really trying to create a legacy. That was probably one of the things that I did talk about beyond just him as a person. It's just, you know, what are we building towards now? You know, which is each step is towards Canton, you know. And I think, you know, that's his mindset as well. But, you know, you got to stay in the moment each and every day, be where your feet are, and take it as it comes. But ultimately, that's his goal.
Were you installing during this time, or did the install come training?
No, we installed from phase one, you know, and then we reinstalled again OTAs and as well as Minicamp. So we're ahead in regards to a lot of things that I wanted to get in. So I'm excited about that and the things that we've been able to rep. Our philosophy and the things that we believe in hasn't changed from a schematic standpoint of who we are, who we've been in the past. We've just been able to add a little bit of wrinkles here and there, what I call tools. But very excited at where we are right now and how the guys have been working.
What will you be doing during your 40 days off? What is your plan for the off season?
Off season, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I'll be back in the mountains of North Carolina in Boone, sitting on my deck watching the mountains and probably smoking cigars. I'm not going to tell you what else I'll be doing. Very enjoyable.
Do you take a look at film, or what do you?
Oh yes, yeah. Well, definitely. Before I leave, we have, you know, all the cut-ups on my laptop from spring. You know, trying to go back and figure out how we can improve from there. And you know, you always try to get a jump on your first two opponents. So those are the things you work on. You're never really on vacation.
How much of last season do you look at? Do you look at everything, or do you look at certain things that you pick up on?
I think you got to go back and look at just certain things, you know, particularly with us being able to, well, not being able, we're playing the AFC North, right? So I had an opportunity to play that division last year. You know, I played this division last year as well. So I would go back and look at our games, right, that we played against them, just to be able to see certain things and try to get some, you know, some key tendencies from there.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate you guys. Enjoy your vacation as well.